I'm telling you right now, this is a Bas Ayin you do not want to miss. Rabbi Avrohom Dov Ber of Avritch, if you look in his second piece on Parshas Devarim, he says something that's mind-blowing, it's fundamental, and it offers us a perspective, I believe, on Tisha Be'av that's just beyond, it's beyond. And I want to read it together with you. We're going to learn through the whole piece. And let's jump right in. So let's go. So the context is that Moshe Rabbeinu, Ela Devarim, right? Moshe gathers the Jewish people. He speaks to them. Where is he standing? Be'ever Yardim, by the opposite, and he gives them teichacha. It's veiled. It's right, a somewhat subtle rebuke that he gives to the Jewish people. And the Torah tells us the location that he's up by the opposite of the Yarden, Be'ever Yarden. Says the Bas Ayin, V'yesh l'dakdek shelo ein zeh siman. This doesn't actually tell us where he is. Ki la'omed b'chutz la'aretz mashma lo she'ever hayarden hu be'eretz Canaan. What's his question? The question is, Be'ever Yarden means the other side. The other side of the Yarden sounds like, well, it's not clear, because if you're standing outside of Eretz Yisrael, the other side means in Eretz Yisrael. And if you're standing inside Eretz Yisrael, then Be'ever Yarden, the other side, means outside of Eretz Yisrael. But Moshe Rabbeinu and the Jewish people were outside of Eretz Yisrael. We know that because they were in the plains of Moab. So Be'ever Yarden doesn't tell us where exactly he was. It just says Be'ever Yarden was on the opposite side of the Jordan. What does that mean? It's not talking about the physical location. Says the Bas Ayin, it's talking about something deeper. And Bas Ayin says like this, and so too Bamidbar is not telling us a physical location, but the word Bamidbar, which is the next word in the pasuk, it's the beginning of the rebuke. To resolve this, we have to understand, we have to consider the pasuk that says in Yeshaya, Yisrael asher b'cha esper, you are my servant, the Jewish people. Hashem is talking about the Jewish people. And it's in whom I'm glorified in you. There's something about the Jewish people and glorification of Hashem. So what's going on here? V'yodua ma'amer Chazal, it's known, Chazal. The Medrash in Vayikra Rabbah, Lamed Vav, Dalet says, She'ikar brias ha'olam hu haya b'shvil Yisrael. The primary purpose for the creation of the world was for the sake of the Jewish people. But nope, not a period, but a comma. Continue. For the purpose of the world was created for the creation of the world was created for the Jewish people, right? The purpose of that creation was for the Jewish people, but to do what? To extract the light from the darkness and to transform darkness into light. If a Jew chas v'shalom experiences a hardship, a time of gevura, troubles, judgment, he's required to look at the good that's hidden within. Because if we believe that our primary purpose and function on this world, and the purpose of creation was for the Jewish people in order to do what? To transform darkness into light. That means in every situation of darkness, there is light that's beneath the surface. There's always nitzotei kedusha, there's always sparks of kedusha that's beneath the surface, that's just being concealed and being hovered and being closed up by the klipos. And if we remove those metaphysical barriers, then guess what? We will connect, we will see the light, we will see the glory, we will see the positivity. There's always good beneath the surface. So, vivarech ala ra, kishim shmavarech ala tova niglis, and the person is required. He has to bless Hashem for the bad, just like he does for the good. Ki gam zulutova, because also this gam zulutova rak shatav nistermanelim. It's just that what the good. It's not that it's not there. It's not that it doesn't exist. It exists certainly. It's just concealed. It's hidden. Our job is to try to reveal that. V'yamar Rav Kadosh Rabbi Chaim Mikrasni al gam zulutova. Rabbi Chaim of Krasny explained the concept of gam zulutova as follows. The name, the Shem Havaya of Kadosh Baruch Hu, the name Yud Kei Vav Kei that we use when we reference Hashem, right? That name represents Midas HaRachman, represents the mercy, represents the compassion of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Vashem Hu Zu, the Shem Hu, then Zu, the name Chav Vav, Zayin Vav, Shem Osios, Sh'acher Osios Havaya, Ba'alef Beis Hem Den. So what are the letters that come after the Shem Havaya of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? After the letters Yud, then Hey, then Vav, then Hey. After those letters is Chav, then Vav, then Zayin, then Vav, which spells Hu then zu. In those that name hu then zu, it represents the backside kaviyachal v'kadosh baruch Hu. So if the Shem Havaya Yud Kei Vav Kei represents the compassion and the chesed of Hashem, this represents the side hu. Then zu represents the name of God. It's the backside, so it represents the decrees and represents the judgment, the harshness. It represents the gevura aspect of Hashem. And the Bas Ayin says like this: Yosios chavav shel Hashem chu dinzu hachesed shebehem hem yoser niglem ki hem gematria vaya. So the first two letters of that name, the backside name, the harsh name, the gevura name, the hu then zu name is chavav. The first two letters of that name, of the hiddenness, is chavav, which is 26, which is the numerical value of the Shem Havaya. So that represents compassion. But then you have the two letters at the end, the Zayin and the Vav, zu, which represents the part that's more, that represents those two letters represent din. It represents harshness. It represents decrees. It represents judgment. It represents gevura. So what do we do about that? Veosios zu hein yoser din. It represents a greater degree of judgment than kindness. V'achesed nister b'socha ma'od b'yoser. And the chesed is concealed. It's hidden inside of the zu even more. It's hard to see it. V'lachein amar Nachamish Gamzu. This is exactly what Nachamish Gamzu was saying when he said Gamzu l'taiva perish gam osio zu. That he's saying that even the letter zu, which represents the darkness, it represents the harshness, it represents the gevura. It represents that concealment. Even zu, even the end of the chud and zu name, more so than any other letters, it represents harshness of judgment. Afal pichein heim l'taiva gam kein. Gam zu, even that is l'taiva. Even that has kindness, has compassion, has positivity hidden inside of it. Good is always concealed. Our job as Yidden is to transform darkness into light, which means light always exists. This is the deeper meaning when the Torah tells us that he was Be'ever Hayarden, Perush. What is Be'ever Hayarden, the opposite of the river? It's not talking about their physical whereabouts, where they were, because we know they were already opposite the Yarden. We know they were outside of Eretz Yisrael. So what does it mean, Be'ever Hayarden? You have to look at the words. You have to look at the letters. What is Yarden? What does that word look like? Perush milashon rido yomaka bechinas din. Yarden represents Yerida. It represents going down. It represents judgment. It represents concealment. It represents the zu. It represents the idea of gevura, the attribute of din. Uperish be'ever hayarden means to go around that, to transform the darkness into light. Be'ever means, aver is milashon lahavir, like to pass through or pass over. Lahavir habechinas din, or to remove. The Be'ever Yarden means we're supposed to remove the Bechina of Yarden, to remove the aspect of Din, to remove the harsh judgment. Moshe was telling the Jewish people to remove the harsh judgment for the purpose of what? Because once you're Be'ever Yarden, once you remove the Yerida, once you remove the Din, once you remove the Zu, you realize that Gam Zlutov, you realize that there's goodness there. You reveal the light, you reveal the beauty, you reveal the positivity that's really lying right there beneath the surface. V'diber Moshe Rabbeinu olav shalom im Yisrael odos shemos halalu. And therefore Moshe Rabbeinu spoke with the Jewish people about these names that represent din, that represent judgment, right? Moshe went through different places, and each name that he said was a rebuke for some place that represented a difficulty. It represented a difficulty that came. And Moshe Rabbeinu was directing the Jewish people, Be'ever Hayarden. Be'ever Yarden, make sure we're being people that are being Be'ever Yarden. You're going past, you're removing the Yerida. You're finding the light beneath the surface. Make sure you're finding the positivity. Make sure you're being like Nachamish Gamzu, that you're seeking the Gamzu l'taiva, even in the Zu. V'yahavchu atzar l'ratza, and you're transforming the tzara, that which seems like a distress, into a ratza, something that's desirable, or you're transforming umara, something that's bitter, to rama, to something that's elevated. He's changing the letters. And it's a fascinating thing. Sometimes I saw this brought down that sometimes if there's a decree, sometimes we can't change the decree. But you know what we can change? We can change the lettering. We can change the lettering. So let's say, chas v'shalom, the decree was a tzara. We can change the tzara to aratza, to something that's positive. If, let's say, there was a decree for nega, we can change that nega and to oneg, to pleasure. Let's say there was a decree for mara, something bitter. We can change that. We can change the letters and to become rama, something elevated. Just like we find that by the Meimara, by the bitter waters, what happened? He threw the stick in and it became sweet. Rama. What became of the mara, the bitterness? Rama. It became elevated, became sweet. Because certainly within every trouble, goodness and kindness are hidden and concealed within. It's only that what? It's the outer shell, it's the klipa, which conceals it. It's like the husk that conceals the wheat. If you want to get to the inside, the goodness, the part that's going to end up being bread, you want to get to that stuff, the chita, you got to remove the motes, you got to remove the husk. So too, there's a klipa, there's a shell, there's a husk that's surrounding the chesed, that's tzrichim lahasira, that's needed to be removed. Like we said, be'ever hayarden, you got to remove the yarden, you got to remove the husk, you got to remove the klipa. Al yidei teshuva v'leiv nishbar v'tzom. Through these three things, through teshuva, through a broken heart, and through fasting. And it's not coincidence that the word for a husk, a motes, is the same as what? As tzom. Umehapchem motes letzom, says the Bas Ayin. And we can transform and turn the motes, the husk, into a tzom, into fasting. And we're going to do another transformation of the distress. The tzara is going to become ratza. It's going to become something that's desired. And we're going to transform the darkness into light. The Gama Kosov Meramis, and this is it's mind blowing. It really is. The Gama Kosov Meramis Lezeh Binyan Hatzom, and the pasuk that describes the fast days, the pasuk in Zechariah, it alludes to this concept. The pasuk says, "Tzom Haravi," the fast of the fourth month, which is Shivas B'Tammuz, v'Tzom Harchamishi, the fast of Tisha Be'av, Tzom HaShavi, which is Tzom Gedalia, I believe it's Tzom HaSir and Asar B'Teves. That's what the pasuk says. The fast of the fourth, the fast of the fifth, the fast of the seventh, the fast of the 10th. Bas Ayin does something brilliant. He says, what happens when you add up those numbers? What happens when you add up 4, 5, 7, and 10? You get 26. Mispar kulam, the numerical value, the gematria is chaf vav, is 26. We know that 26 is the numerical value of the Shem Havaya, of the Shem Rachamim, of the compassion, the name of the Shem Chesed of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Yud Kivav Ki name of Hashem. Chavav Kishem Havaya Baruch Hu Shehu Rachamim, it's the name of mercy. Ki bevadai chesed ganus besocham. Yes, we're talking about the fast that befell these fast days that befell the Jewish people, because these were times of hardship and great din and distress, right? The fast of the fourth, and the fast of the fifth, and the fast of the seventh, and the fast of the 10th. But guess what? Hinted and alluded to inside of that, concealed inside of that darkness, is light. Because if you add it up, it equals the 26. It represents the compassion. Alluded to that is ki bevadai chesed ganus besocham. The kindness is concealed within those hardships. Klal Yisrael's mission on this world is to take it out and is to extricate it, is to take out the light from that's hidden in the darkness. And to transform tzom, the fast, into kol, a voice, hakol Yaakov. Right? L'kol kol Yaakov ki misparim shava. Their value is the same. Kol is 136, the same as tzom. Sometimes when you see in the siddur, it says above the word tzom, it says kol, or above kol, it says tzom. Okay, tzom kol shegematria shel kol echad kuf lamed vav. V'zeu shamar kosov. This is what it says in Eicha. Hishlich mishamayim eretz tiferes Yisrael. This is the meaning of the pasuk. It says regarding the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash. It says, Hashem threw the glory of the Jewish people down from heaven to earth. Hishlech mishamayim eretz tiferes Yisrael. But he says deeper, Ki eretz is milashon, hu milashon ratzon. Eretz, we know, is milashon ratzon, desire. K'maimer Chazal, like it says, Lama nikri shema eretz. Why is it called eretz? Shiratza lasus ratzon kona. Because the land, the earth, desires to do the will of its creator. So ratzah lomar kadosh baruch hu. So now read it like this. The Bas Ayin says something amazing. Hishlech mishamayim. Hashem threw down what from heaven? What did he throw down from heaven? Eretz. He threw down Eretz. He threw down from heaven his desire, Hashem's desire for the Jewish people to discover the love and the good in every situation, transforming the darkness into the light. That's what he threw down. He threw down this capability. Hishlich mishamayim. Eretz means hishlich mishamayim ritzono. He threw down this ability to find the ratzah in the tzara. That's what he gave us. Shel hipuch tzerif asvan. Through reordering the letters to transform Tzara into Ratzah, from Oneg from Nega to Oneg, right? From Mara to Rama. All these things, that's what Hashem threw down to us. This ability, Bishvil Tiferes Yisrael, for the sake of what? For the glory of Klal Yisrael. It's the Tiferes Yisrael, it's the glory of the Jewish people, that when we tap into this and we're able to have this perception, then we become glorified in this world, because it's an anomaly. No one else views the happenings of the world like this. No one else views the world in this realm. This is the ratzon of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is the will of Hashem, that the Jewish people should be able to switch the letters and to transform din into rachmim, and to transform darkness into light. And going back, this is the beginning in Parshas Devarim, which is always read right before Tisha Be'av. This is the remez of the pasuk. Eila hadavarim asher diber Moshe el kol Yisrael. These are the words that Moshe said to all of the Jewish people. What does it mean, Eila hadavarim? What were the words that he said? Perish Eila hadavarim gematria tal. Eila hadavarim has a numerical value of 39. How so? Eila Devarim, because Eila is 36. Kidrashas Rabbeinu, it's the Drush and Gemara and Shabbos, Mikan L'tal Malachos Mishkan, because he learns from Eila Devarim, we learn the 39 Malachos. How? Because Eila is Gematria 36, and Devarim is an extra 2. Ha Devarim, the extra Hey is another 1, so it's 36 plus 3, there you get 39. Okay, point is, Eila Devarim represents 39. The 39. You know what else has gematria of Tal? Gematria of 39, something we said before. That's the gematria Kamispar Hashem Hu then Zu. That's the gematria of that name of Hashem, the backside name of Hashem, the Chaf Vav Zayin Vav name of Hashem. What was that name? That name represented Din. Remember? That was the Gam Zu Latova. That was that name. Shem Shel Din Kanal. God, so the name, so Eila Devarim represents din, it represents harshness, it represents gevura, but it doesn't end there. There's more. Gam Sofei Tevos Shel Eila Devarim, the end letters of Eila Devarim, Asher, Hud Tevas, the end letters of Eila Devarim and Asher is Hey, Mem, and Resh, which spells Mara, which represents bitterness. Again, more hardships and more decrees and more gevura. The Sofei Tevos Shel Diber Moshe El Kol Yisrael, the next letters, right? The next words, the end letters of those next words also correspond to negativity and hardship, right? Because it represents, what is it? Gematria Tzar. The end letters of Diber Moshe El Kol Yisrael has numerical value of Tzara. So Eila Devarim represents the name Hu then Zu, which is the Midas Hadin, and the word. And the words Eila Devarim Asher have the Sofi Tevos of Mara, and the Sofi Tevos of the words Diber Moshe El Kol Yisrael is a gematria of Tzara. So this whole pasuk is representing din and harshness. And it was regarding these matters, regarding these difficulties, these hardships that Moshe was discussing with the Jewish people. And what? And he taught them the following: your job as Klal Yisrael is lahavir hayirida, is to transform, is to remove the yirida, is to remove the darkness, is to get rid of that concealment, is to get rid of that husk, to get rid of that darkness and reveal the light that's already there. to find the zul l'tayv, zul l'tayv, to see the good within. Kishabach chas v'shalom mar otzar. If chas v'shalom somebody experiences, or as Klal Yisrael, if Klal Yisrael experiences, like we saw with the Beis Hamikdash, they experience difficulty and bitterness. Yedu shebevada yesh chesed v'rachmim nelam v'ganuz besocha. Certainly there is kindness and compassion hidden within. Rak sheha'avonos mastir maso kamos l'svua. It's only that the sins conceal that kindness, that conceals that compassion, like the husk over the grain. Al kain yasu teshuva b'leiv nishbar v'nidka. Therefore, they should do teshuva with a broken heart, and to do what? Vayikru tzom, to announce a fast day. V'yahapvoch motz l'tzom, to transform the motz, the husk, into a tzom, into fast. V'Hashem berachamav, Hashem in His mercy, ya'ana osam v'yahapvoch gam kain mitzara l'ratza, that Hashem in His mercy will hopefully turn the tzara, the difficulty, into ratza, something that's desired. Umimara l'mara, and the bitterness into something that's elevated. Umitzom l'kol, like we said, it's the same gematria. Kol mevaser v'aimer yeshus v'nechamos, and it'll, like it says, the voice of the herald will announce and declare salvation. B'meher v'yameinu amen kain hiratza, and that's the end of the Bas Ayin. It's unbelievable. We see this idea of the rearranging of the letters to become something deeper, to tap into something that's positive. And I think this is so relevant to Tisha Be'av, because we could do the same thing, right? With the same practice of finding the aspect of positivity. You don't have to look too far. The Shla says like this: nothing ultimately bad comes down to the Jewish people. We're children of Hashem. Even Hashem gets angry at us, and right, there's a Churban, Hamikdash, Churban Yisrael, Vegalos, and exile, it's all for our good. Ultimately, it's all for our good. And if we could take this same challenge, like the Bas Ayin said, and transform the Tzara to Ratza, the Mara to Rama, right? Then guess what? We could do the same thing with Churban. Churban is the same letters as Nivchar. Instead of viewing the world, instead of viewing it and focusing on the Churban, we can realize, you know what? We're the Ama Nivchar. We're the chosen people. And instead of focusing on the nega, on the negativity, we can focus on the oneg, on the pleasure. And instead of focusing, and of course we have to do these things sometimes to tap into the fact that we're a Nivchar. We have to connect to the Churban, of course. Right? But you know what else we do on Tisha Be'av? We recite Kinnis. Kinnis, when you rearrange the letters, spells Tikkun, because ultimately that's the purpose of it, to find Tikkun, is to create something, is to fix something, because something's broken. If we haven't built the Beis Hamikdash in our days, it's like we destroyed it. So we have to fix something. But also, you know what those letters represent? It also is the same letters as Tinok, because inside of us is a child. And this month, the month of where Tisha Be'av falls out, where the month of Bein HaMetzarim, guess what? It's still called Av, because he's our father. And we, the people who recite the Kinnas, if you rearrange the letters, spells Tinok. We're that child, and Hashem loves us. And Hashem only rebukes that which He loves. At the beginning of Parashat Devarim, where Moshe Rabbeinu rebukes the Jewish people, there's a positivity there, because He only rebukes the people that are chosen, the chosen people. Yes, it's a Churban, but guess what? Hashem took it out, first of all, on the stones and the mortar, and we're still alive to tell the tale. But the fact that He took it out, and the fact that He was upset, represents the fact that, okay, what we do matters, right? We're the Ama Nivchar. So it's important for us to reframe with that, and to realize that everything that seems negative has a positive, deeper side to the story. And our goal is like Moshe Rabbeinu, who is standing Be'ever HaYarden, trying to infuse in the Jewish people this notion, Be'ever HaYarden, to find the other side, to be able to be Mahavir, to remove the Yerida, to remove that negativity, and find the Gam Zulatov, find the aspects of positivity, the aspects of holiness beneath the surface. And we know it's spoken about often during these time of year of Avas Yisrael, Avas Chinam, loving others. So we could apply the same concept that, sometimes on the surface, we just see negativity in other people. And we just want to hate them for this or not that. They dress them in they have a different political understanding. They went to this yeshiva and I went to this yeshiva and they wear this type of yarmulke, whatever the case may be. But beneath the surface, every yid has an aspect of positivity. If every situation that seems dark and bleak has aspects of positivity, has aspects of goodness and holiness, then certainly every Jew, every person also, even if they look different and from our perspective, they look black compared to me, guess what? Beneath the surface, there's holiness and positivity. So if we're able to just get rid of all the Yarden, Avar Yarden, just remove all that, then we could be Mahapich. We could transform the Choshech into Nahora. We can transform the darkness into light and truly see other Yidden for who they are. We could see ourselves for who we really are. And we could see the world for what it truly is. It's a place that's teeming with joy and a place that's infused with a tremendous amount of Kedusha. And it's up to us to put on that lens, to be able to see it and to be able to live it, to experience it. And may we be zoche, when we have this perspective change and this perspective shift, that we should be able to zoche v'roa, to have that perspective that we'll see the Beis HaMikdash being built, b'meher v'yameinu, amen.